Hello, everybody. Here we are again. Today's day 3 of our paper crafting extravaganza. Welcome. We are so excited that you are here. Let us know in the comments where you guys are coming from. I'm really excited. Debbie, it looks like you got a sweatshirt on this morning. Okay, I would take 60 degrees this morning for me. It was 31 in my garage when I pulled my car out, and 22 while I was driving into work this morning. So it's pretty chilly here in Utah. My name is Melodee. I am here at Caterpillar headquarters just outside of Salt Lake City in Bluffdale, Utah. Today is day 3 of our paper crafting extravaganza, and we're really excited that you guys are joining us. We appreciate you coming every day this week, talking about all of our paper crafting products. I just want to do a little history because I don't know if I've done that yet this week. Caterpillar, with all of our fantastic products, we actually started in the paper crafting business. We started making paper trimmers originally. Our original owners and inventors worked for a print shop and decided to try to figure out how to make the awesome cutters that you find in print shops in a personal form, because I think it was their sister and their mother who wanted a paper trimmer, and the ones that they could find out there were just not great. And so they created their own. And that's kind of how we started back in 2011, making paper trimmers. And so it's really, really excited. We're really excited to talk about it here. I hear Illinois is very cold this week, as is the South in snowy Alabama. I saw photos this morning of the snow in New Orleans. My husband was born in New Orleans, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the snow that I saw blanketing the city of New Orleans this morning. He couldn't believe it either. He's years old, and he said he didn't really remember there ever being snow that he saw. Of course, he was an army brat, and so he moved all over the place, so he could have missed it, but he doesn't remember seeing snow in New Orleans. It's a little bit crazy. I think it's great. Snowing again in Wisconsin as well. Well, guys, here we go. It's 20 in Wisconsin is warm for you guys. 22 this morning was cold for me, but that's okay because I am inside the studios here at Caterpillar headquarters talking about paper crafting products. We're going to talk about our awesome paper trimmer today. I'm really excited about it. We talked about, I'm going to kind of recap a little bit about what we talked about earlier in the week first. On Monday, we talked about our all-in paper crafting bundle. There are bundles on our website at caterpillar.com that are discounted already. So if you go there, we have an all-in bundle that we call it for paper crafters. We have a card making bundle. We also have a travel bundle for paper crafters. And if you go there, the bundles are already discounted. But this week, we have extra special discounts for all of our paper crafting products. So this week, here in the middle of January, if you go to our website, you get an additional 25% off of paper crafting products, and the bundles are where you're going to get the biggest discount because they're already discounted. If you use coupon code paper25, paper25, you can get that discount on anything. So if you've been holding out, waiting to get this awesome paper cutter, now is the time. It is a great deal right now, and you guys, it's going to be fantastic for you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, but I do also want to remind you all to go to our website, caterpillar.com, sign up for our newsletter. That is where you'll be notified of all the fun things we have going on, when we have specials happening, when we have giveaways happening, all of those things. You get all of those notifications by signing up for our newsletter. Because if you come back on Friday, we're going to do a little craft along for National Compliments Day. And we're going to have a big giveaway on Friday, but you have to register for that one. So if you go sign up for the newsletter, you'll get an email about our lives this week. And on there, it'll show you, give you a link. If I remember right, I'll just give you a link so that you can register for the giveaway for Friday. So make sure you do that as well. I love seeing how cold it is for you guys, but I'm sorry that it's all cold for all of you guys, especially in places where it's not supposed to be cold. That breaks my heart a little bit. I feel bad for you, but I'm glad you're all hanging in there. So yes, as I was saying, sorry, I get distracted really easily. Go sign up for our newsletter at caterpillar.com. You want that way you will get the giveaway registration link in the emails. And also, if you guys are on social media, go to Facebook and join our Creations Hub, our Caterpillar Creation Hub. It's our Facebook group where we talk about projects that we're working on. It's where we talk about new products that are coming out. It's where we can do polls when we say, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about this? So go to Facebook and just search for Caterpillar Creations Hub, and it will pop up and you can join the group there. That is really great. Another thing that I just want to remind everyone of is that we have a really great affiliate program also. If you guys like to share and talk about our awesome products to your friends or family members, or do little videos or anything like that, become an affiliate, because then if somebody that you refer to us orders, you get a little kickback, and that's never a bad thing. A little bit of extra money, no matter what it is, even if it's only enough for a free coffee, it's kind of nice to have it show up in your PayPal account where you're just like, hey, now I can go to dinner. That's great. I can go have drinks with my friends. I can go to coffee on Saturday, whatever it is. It's so fantastic. So make sure that you check out all of those other things. We're also starting another group shortly. Bethany is behind the scenes commenting for us, and she will let me know if I say this the wrong way. But it's an inspiration. I can't remember now. Bethany's going to have to let us know in the comments. But there's another group where we are going to ask thank you, insiders group. It's the insiders group to get insight about all things Caterpillar as well. So join the insiders group. That is coming along shortly as well. So Susan, I love that you took an applique sewing class on Monday and showed off your light board. That we love to hear, because there's two really good things about that. First of all, you're sharing the Caterpillar love, which we also love. The other thing, I don't know about you guys, but when I get together with other crafters, I really, really like to be able to say, look at this cool thing I have. Then they can get it later, but I like to be the first one. So that's always fun as well. And that's fun. I want to go take an applique class as well, because I have not done that yet. I sort of learned to applique for my mom when I was a kid, and I sort of fudged my way through it, but I'm not fantastic at it, and I want to learn the better tips and tricks about it. So I want to do that as well. But today we are talking about paper crafting products, and today we are going to talk about our big original pro paper trimmer. Now, I mentioned a little bit how we started in the paper crafting world. We couldn't find a paper cutter that did all the things we wanted it to do, and so they invented their own. And it's what got me working here for Caterpillar. I've worked in the paper crafting world about 20 years, and I've been able to work for manufacturers. I've been able to work for retail outlets, all different places in the paper crafting world. And I got my first paper cutter from Caterpillar 8 years ago. And when I would see them at shows, and when I saw Jack at a show and they was talking about how they needed some help in the office, I was like, me, pick me. And so I've been working here for 8 years because of the paper cutter that I got before I started working here. And it is fantastic. Originally, it started out as metal. I don't know if any of you out there have our original metal paper cutter. I have one at my house. They're like 10 pounds. They're super heavy, but they're super awesome. Mine still cuts like a dream. But we've switched that to a plastic composite now. So they're a lot lighter. They're a lot easier to pick up and move around than they were originally. So I don't know if you have the original one. If you do, it's a collector's piece. So hang on to it. Because someday that's what's going to be left are those metal trimmers, because they're just never going to dissolve, or whatever you call it, where you put it in the landfill. But not that you ever would, because it's the best paper cutter out there. So I'm going to tell you, I get really easily distracted. I'm sorry. I don't have Santa Nathan here with me today to keep me on track. So just scream at me if I need to stay back on track. So this is our pro paper trimmer. This is the biggest one we have. It's so fantastic. I'm going to tell you a little bit about why it's so fantastic first, that I'm going to show you kind of what it does. So first of all, you have your rotary blade that is inside a cartridge here. So it's nice and safe, and you're not going to accidentally cut yourself. I can't tell you how many times on those little slide trimmers, I've lifted that little piece up and I've accidentally cut myself on that. And then I bleed on my projects. That's so frustrating. That we don't have an issue with. Our joke around here is our grandkids and our husbands can use the paper cutter because they're not going to hurt themselves. So that's the first thing about it that makes it so great. The second thing about it, thank you for that, Ginny Drack. I know you just sent me an email and told me your name, not your YouTube name, but I'm already distractible. I already forgot. Thank you for that compliment. Thank you for doing that. It makes me feel better. Anyway, so while it's inside the cartridge here, it also works on a gear system. Yes. Thank you, Bethany. It works on a gear system. So inside the cartridge is your blade. You can see it right there. And I don't know if you can see really well, but there's little gears inside this cartridge. And the gears in there are what rotates the blade. There's a gear track in the bar here. And so that's what rotates the blade. See that blade rotates? I'm just using 2 fingers and that blade will rotate. So it's not like when you're using those other rotary cutters where you have to push down on that spring bar really hard to get it to cut. The mechanism does the cutting for you. So that is so super great, and it's nice and easy, smooth. I kind of like to say that it's kind of like you're guiding a power saw or a tile saw. Instead of you using your energy, the mechanism, the energy from the mechanism and the gears is what does the cutting for you. So it's a nice and smooth cut. The other thing that's really great about it is you've got 2 grades of steel. So you've got a softer steel and a harder steel. These 2 are different. So the reason that is important is because it kind of keeps itself sharp. It's a self-maintaining blade system. It's very much like when you are sharpening your knife in the kitchen on that little sharpening stick. Those are 2 different grades of steel. And so that's how you can sharpen your knife. This keeps itself sharp. So if you feel that it might be getting a little bit dull, all you have to do is run it back and forth on itself a bunch of times, and it sharpens it right back up like you're sharpening the knife in the kitchen. The other thing that is the most fantastic about it is it has this LED light bar. So you can turn this light on right here, and that will show you your cut line. So you can see, it's almost too bright. You can see exactly where your cut is going to be because it will shine through. It'll make a shadow right there. So it is so fantastic. It cuts all kinds of paper. So it's meant for precision cutting. So you can cut all kinds of different things with it. Kathy, I'm glad that it cuts that. You can cut some thick stuff. It cuts up to about 110-pound cardstock. If you feel any resistance when you're cutting, then your stuff is a little bit too thick. So don't try to force ever. It should just cut like butter. This is our 85-pound cardstock. This is what we use a lot for our layout bases and things like that, right? And it will cut through this so super easy. Now there's a little bit of give in the blade. I'm going to flip the camera again and show you. There's a little bit of give in the blade. It opens just, it rotates out and back and forth a little bit. We did that on purpose. It seems a little weird because you need to make sure that you're resting your finger on the outside of the blade and pushing inward just slightly. So you make sure you're metal on metal. So rest a couple of fingers on the side and then guide it with your thumb and your first finger. That's how I do it. And then that's how you cut it. You can cut in either direction, forward, backward, whichever one you like to do best. I like to go towards myself a little bit better. But look how super thin you can cut. You can cut so very thin because of the way that mechanism works and because of the way those blades stay so sharp. Imagine when you are cutting your card bases or you're matting your photos for your layouts or anything like that. Look at that. Look how tiny that is. And let's say you mat it off center just a little bit. I don't know how many of you have done that. How many of you have accidentally matted something off center by just a little bit? Then you go get your regular scissors and you think, oh, that's just a tiny little bit. That's maybe 1/64 of an inch. I can trim that with my scissors, no problem. And you trim that and it's wrong. Oh no, it's too far. So you turn it and you trim it again and you turn it, you trim it again. And then everything is not even anymore. No more doing that. You don't have to do that anymore. You can cut right on top of here. So it will cut your thicker cardstock. This, like I said, is 85-pound cardstock. It will also cut your regular light text weight paper. So this is our Debbie, good question. Can it cut lightweight chipboard like cereal box weight? Yes, it can. That is about 110-pound cardstock, depending on the cereal box. Sometimes those are a little lighter weight than that. So yes, it can. But again, remember, anything that you're cutting, if you feel resistance, do not try to shove it through. If you try to shove it through, that blade will jump up onto your flat metal blade and it'll ruin your blade. So don't do that. But this is your regular text weight paper. This is like paper that you print on your computer printer, right? So it'll cut through that as well. And so that just went through 85-pound. That went through, this is 65-pound text weight paper. This is your 110-pound cardstock weight. So a lot of us like to do card bases out of this, or when you're making mini albums, you're binding out of this, or your flaps out of this. It will cut right through this as well. You can hear it's a little bit of a different texture, but it will cut straight through that also. So great. It will also cut handmade paper. So this is our mulberry paper. This is our handmade mulberry paper. It will cut straight through this also. Look at that. Super easy. Cut right through there. No problem. It'll also cut glitter paper. This is our nice fine glitter paper. It'll cut right through this. Look at that. Look how easy that cuts right through there. Obviously, I'm not measuring, but look how great that'll cut straight through all of that stuff. It'll cut through your foil paper also. Get these out of the way. Now you're not going to see the light through every single medium that you're trying to cut through, because this is like extra thick and paper backed as well as a foil, but it'll cut straight through there. It'll cut through all of this different stuff. It'll cut through those foam core. If you're doing a project for your kids at school, you can cut it. You'll have to flip it over and cut the other side because it's pretty thick, but it can cut through that. It can cut through cork. It will cut through fabric if you stiffen the fabric up really, really well with something like Material Magic. It'll cut through that. Don't do a lot of that, but it can if you need it to. It can do that, so you can get really accurate. So the cutting mechanism is just phenomenal. As I mentioned, this is our Pro Paper Trimmer. Go to Caterpillar.com, use code PAPER25 for 25% off this week. But this has the full base. So we have two different trimmers. This one's the Pro Trimmer. We'll talk about the crop trimmer tomorrow, but this is the Pro. So you have the full base. So you can put a full 12 by 12 on here, and it'll take up the whole base. So your measurements, let me flip that over again. The measurements go out. So here's your 12-inch mark right here. So it's 13 and a half base on that side. So it's about 15 inches wide. The other cool thing is it has a little drawer. So this little drawer, you can put your projects in, you can put your paper in. It has an extra little cubby in there under here. So you can put the stuff that you're working on. If you're working on a 12 by 12 layout, you can put that in here and keep all of your pieces together. When I first got this trimmer 8 years ago, started hiding snacks in here that I didn't want to share with my kids. So when the kids go out trick-or-treating and they come back and they bring the Twix home and you want to steal them, this is where you hide them. Thank you, Jenny, for saying that. Everyone needs this trimmer. You have the first gen one that's metal, which is great, and it still cuts. And then the smaller one is great to take around with you. So there's both of them are so fantastic. But you can hide your snacks in here. I used to also hide money in here so that my kids didn't know where to find that either. So you can hide all that stuff in there. So I just got into scrapbooking projects. Becky, that's so great. I love that. Tried several trimmers, having a hard time getting the exact size for your projects. You know what? I agree. I'm telling you, I had every trimmer that you can find. I had slide trimmers. I had guillotine trimmers. I had those rotary ones where you have to push down on the spring bar. I had all of them. The slide trimmers kind of work for a little while until the blade goes dull and you're in the middle of your project and it's 9:30 at night and you try to run to the store and either it's closed or it doesn't have the replacement blade you need. Great. Or the little plastic piece that slides on kind of gives out after a while. It stretches a little bit the more you use it. So the blade doesn't stay straight in it. Or the little gutter that blade runs in kind of grows a little bit as you're doing it. And so it's super hard. So Debbie, another question from Debbie. Thank you. For card makers, are the standard size cards, they're not marked on here, but there's a thing that you can do on here, which is so great, which I did with mine at home, is I took some acrylic paint and I painted it and then wiped off the excess so the paint would settle in all the grooves. So everything is lit up, not lit up, but it's brightened up that way. And then I took the 4 1/4 and the 5 1/2 and I used a little skinny Sharpie and I marked those. And so I have those marked on my trimmer at home. So you can do all that and it's totally fine for the trimmer and safe to do that. It won't hurt it in any way if you want to add those little things to it, if it's easier for you to do that. Super, super great. So this is our Pro trimmer. It takes 4 AA batteries. Let me flip the camera around. Oh no, it was already flipped. Oh, see, I'm so good at the camera thing all by myself. It takes 4 AA batteries in the back right here. And then there is a little switch on the bottom. And that little switch right here is what turns that light on and off. So it's really, really durable. It's super amazing. I just can't tell you, it's my favorite trimmer. Oh, I was telling you, see, I got distracted again. I was telling you how I had all the different trimmers. I had a bunch of different kind of slide trimmers. I had a bunch of different kind of rotary trimmers and I hated all of them. There was one thing or two things about all of the trimmers that I didn't like. I didn't like my guillotine because I cut my finger off one time, not the whole finger, but the tip of the finger. All of them. When I finally got my Caterpillar 8 years ago, I had a bit of a bonfire. I got rid of all of them. I got rid of all of them except this one. This is the only one that I use now. Precision, precision, precision. It's so amazing. It's so easy to use, to flip that through. Remember, all of the features of this that make it so great is you have the little light, and that light will light your cut line so you can see exactly where you're cutting. So if you want to cut the stripes, this is my favorite part. If you want to cut the stripes, you want to cut right at the edge of that blue, You don't even need to butt it up at the top because you can see with that light exactly where that blue stripe goes, and you can just cut it that way. So when you get your 12 by 12 papers from all of your favorite paper companies, you have to cut that little header off the bottom that has the barcode on it. You can use the light and you can see exactly. So fantastic. It's amazing. So you've got that LED light that lights up your cut line. You've also got your cartridge, which holds your rotary blade. So it's nice and safe. So you're not going to accidentally cut yourself. It works on a gear system. So the gears rotate that blade, and the gear track in there, the bar is what helps it. So you can rotate that blade with barely any effort at all. You're just guiding that blade, and that will rotate for you. And then super, super nice that way. And then because it's two different grades of steel, it kind of it self maintains itself. I've never replaced the blade on mine. I've had it 8 years. Now, if you cut a lot of thick things, if you cut a lot of weird stuff, you may have to replace it, and there are replacements available if necessary, but I have never, ever done it. So Jana has a question. Can you please highlight the features that we won't get on the other trimmer? So I don't have the other, no, I do have the other trimmer right here. We're going to talk more about the other trimmer tomorrow, but this is the other trimmer. This is the crop trimmer. So this is smaller. The mechanisms on these trimmers, the way they work, are identical. They work the exact same. The difference in the trimmers is the size of the base. And that's kind of all it. The crop trimmer has a little swing out measurement arm. So that swings out to 17.5 inches, but the base of it is about 7 inches wide. And then the pro trimmer has the drawer where you can hide your snacks and your money and your projects and your embellishments and your mini bottles. Just kidding, but you could. Some of them, not all of them. But it's got that storage drawer. So but the mechanisms on them are exactly the same. The mechanisms work the exact same. So the way they work is totally identical. Get rid of the 20-year-old Fiskars. I'm telling you, it is. It was so liberating when I got rid of all of my paper trimmers and stuck with this one. Now on the website this week, like I mentioned, paper crafting products are 25% off. You want to use code paper25 to get that deal. But I want to kind of show you for a second. We do make a tote bag that goes with it. We make a tote bag for all of them. So if you get the trimmer, if you need a storage and tote bag, check that out as well. We're going to talk about these a little bit more on Friday, but we have those available also. They're fantastic for the trimmers to store them and to carry them. They're pretty lightweight. You can take the big one with you. I love the big one. My best friend loves the smaller one, but they work the exact same. I like the full base. She likes that it doesn't take up as much space for the smaller one. It's just a matter of preference because they work identically to each other. So go check out Paper 25, save the 25%. Now, there are bundles that we put together, card making bundles, all-in bundles. Those are already discounted. So if you go to the site and get a bundle, it's a little bit of a better deal because those are already discounted on the site. And you can use that coupon code Paper25 to get 25% off of it. So all the paper crafting products, the paper trimmers, the crease scoreboard that we talked about yesterday, and the tote bags are all 25% off. But check out the bundles also because there's some other stuff in that. Good question. Could you carry that in the same as your Glow Premium? I don't think you can. The difference is this metal bar here does not fold down. This metal bar stays up to make sure you have an exact 90-degree angle when you're doing your cutting. And so the bag for this is super boxy and it fits all the way around this, whereas the bag for the glows, for the light boards, is nice and thin and streamlined, so it just fits the glow in there. Now, if you get the bag, if you get the Glow Ultra bag, this one, if you have this bag, you could totally put the premium and your paper cutter in this bag, but it won't fit in the Glow Premium bag. So be careful about that. Thank you for that comment. I am Dot. It's my favorite trimmer. It cuts more precisely than any others I've tried. I started out with a smaller one and graduated to this larger one. I love the larger one so much because of that base and because I do hide things in there. I don't steal candy from my kids anymore because they're too big, but I have a grandson. He usually goes trick-or-treating from my house. I usually steal all the Twix bars, the little ones, and line them up in there. And he says, where did they go? And I say, I don't know, you must have eaten them, or maybe Pop ate them all. And I have them in my drawer so I can get them when I want them. That's what I do. because it's so great. So great. I love, Dot, that you passed the smaller trimmer on to your daughter and you've never had to replace the blades on either one. I haven't either. I haven't replaced the blades on mine. I've had mine for 8 years, 8 years, which is why I came to work at Caterpillar, because it was the best trimmer I've ever had. It's so precise. It's so accurate. It is made for precision. It isn't made for bulk. So keep in mind that the rule is that you can cut up to about 100 to 110 pound cardstock. So if you're doing 2 sheets of the lightweight 65 pound text weight paper, you can get away with it, but not super thick. If you try to cut through something and it feels like there's resistance at all, stop. Don't keep cutting, because that'll jump up and it'll mess up your blades and it'll mess up the alignment and everything. So just make sure there's no resistance and you can cut. You can cut 40-point chipboard, which is lightweight chipboard, which we talked about a little earlier. It's about the thickness of a cereal box. You can cut up to that, totally fine. You can also cut, like I mentioned, you can cut the text weight paper super easy. This is 110-pound cardstock for card bases or mini albums. You can cut through that so easily. You can also cut foil paper, which is paper backed and foil metallic on there. You can cut glitter paper. So super easy. And you can cut in either direction. So whichever is easier for you, you can cut. You can cut handmade mulberry paper. This is handmade mulberry paper. You can cut through there like a dream. And look how it goes back and forth through all of these, like so easily. This is our regular 80-pound, 85-pound cardstock that we use for almost everything in paper crafting. Cuts through that. This is our 65-pound cardstock that most of our pattern paper is. So you can cut through all of those things. You guys, this is the best thing. This is the best one. The other thing, like even if you're not a super hardcore paper crafter, it's a great paper trimmer to have because of the light. So you're going to find yourself having to help your kids with projects. You're going to get those school photos and you're going to have to try to figure out how to cut them all out. You can use the light to do that and you can cut those accurately. I remember cutting those out for my mother when I would like give her the school photos of the kids every year. And they were always wonky because I tried to cut them with my scissors until I got this. And now then they were all straight and they fit in the frame so much better. So it's so great for all of that. You can cut your sewing patterns down on it. You can cut all kinds of things on it. So it's so fantastic. So I'm very excited about this trimmer. If you guys can't tell, I can't shut up about it. It's my favorite product. I've been around, I've mentioned a few times, I've been around paper crafting for decades now. And this is the best trimmer out there. I've worked for We Are Memory Keepers. I've worked for My Mind's Eye. I've worked for all kinds of retail outlets, all sort of other places. And this is the best one I have ever come across. It is so fantastic, you guys. I'm telling you what, it's the best thing ever. That light changes everything. The self-sharpening of it is a game changer. Not to have to go buy blades at 10:30 at night when you're working on your projects. It's so frustrating when you have to do that. So you don't have to do that. So you guys, make sure you go to the website this week. Get your, yes, Dot, thank you. 140-pound watercolor paper, one piece at a time for the art journals. It's really, it really is great for that. So just be careful when you're doing it. If it's super thick, if you feel any resistance, don't continue. But you can cut, and our recommendation is up to 110-pound cardstock. But yeah, you can kind of get away with a little more than that. Don't tell anybody I told you that. But so we tell you 110-pound cardstock. But like she's mentioned, like watercolor paper is okay. Lightweight chipboard like cereal boxes is okay. You can do all that stuff. And vellum is okay. And cork is okay. And handmade papers are okay. All of that stuff is okay to cut with this. Everything you can think of. My grandson decided to cut up all of the phone books in the house because I let him use this because he can't hurt himself. Which is fine. We don't use those anymore. But anyway, I'm getting distracted again. So great. Go to the website, 25% off this week. The coupon code is good for this week. So go this week to get that. Choose a bundle if you're looking for a bunch of products because those are already discounted. But all the paper crafting stuff is 25% off. The trimmers, the scoreboard, the tote bags, all of that stuff is on sale this week for 25% off. Now, we will be back tomorrow again. We'll talk a little bit more about the crop trimmer. And then Friday, make sure you guys come back at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, both days. Come back on Friday. It is National Compliment Day on Friday. So we are going to do a little craft along. We're going to make some cards so that we can send those out to friends and family or whoever. because we like getting mail. So we're going to make a couple of cards on Friday. And if you guys, Bethany is going to correct me if I'm wrong, but if you register for the giveaway, you're going to get the PDF pattern of the cards that we're doing, the sketches that we're doing on Friday. Bethany will correct me if I'm wrong. And Philip had a question. You could cut fabric covered paper as long as it was on as thin as 110 cardstock. Yes, you can. You totally can do that. As long as if it's paperback, that's super easy to do that. If it's about that thick, you should be just fine to do that. The fabric does need to be stiffened, so either paperbacked or Material Magic stiffened to cut on it. But yes, you totally can. And yes, so check our blog out, so you'll get the project information there. Or if you sign up for our giveaway for Friday, you will get the pattern as well. So if you want to register for that, make sure that you are signed up for our newsletter at caterpillar.com. And then you'll get an email that you can register for the giveaway for Friday at 1 o'clock Mountain Time. We're going to do that on our craft along on Friday. I'm going to try to make sure I remember to tell everybody everything I'm supposed to tell you. So join our Facebook group. If you go to Facebook, look for Caterpillar Creations Hub. It's our Facebook group. It's a really lovely group where everyone is so supportive. We show projects that we're working on, ask for ideas of what you're doing. We give, there's like poll questions in there, like, hey, should we make something this color or that color? We love your feedback. What do you think if we do this product or that product? So join all of that. We are also starting an insiders group, insiders group. And that group is going to be more questions about products and insight into Caterpillar and the things we're working on and that kind of stuff. So that's there too. Make sure you sign up for a newsletter at caterpillar.com. And then also, if you guys like to share the love of Caterpillar, which we love to do, share the love and become an affiliate, because get a little kickback, get a little extra money to go out to dinner or get some coffee or whatever. Because if you use a referral code, then if your friends and family use your referral code, you get a little kickback, they get a little discount. It's pretty fantastic. So become an affiliate. If you go to caterpillar.com, there is a drop down menu that says support, and there's a link right there that gives you all the information for becoming an affiliate, because it's a super great fun thing to do as well. And then we could do a little live with you. We can join you. We can show your friends and all of that kind of stuff. Philip, I love your idea with a diet cutter for quilters. I could use a lot of things these days, because I did not do great over Christmas, but alas, I'm getting distracted again. Anyway, thank you guys all so very much for joining us. This week is our Papercraft extravaganza. We're talking about all of our paper crafting products, and we're super excited that you're joining us. Come back again tomorrow. We'll talk about the crop trimmer a little bit more. And then on Friday is our craft along, both times 1 o'clock Mountain Time. Come see us tomorrow for the crop trimmer. And then Friday, we'll talk a little bit more about everything we talked about this week. We'll go a little more detail about our tote bags, and then we'll have our little craft along where we're going to make some cards for National Compliment Day. So thank you guys again for coming today, and join us the rest of the week. We appreciate it, you guys. Thanks so much.